And we are back. Sorry, everyone. It's been a while, a few months.
6 months.
A while?
Dude.
Yes, it's been a while.
Has it been 6 months?
Don't put a number on it.
Maybe
It's not going to come out till like 2028.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
It's not been 2 years. We did take a 2-year hiatus.
This is like the third time Half a Clue's been back.
Miles'
Yeah.
beard has quadrupled in size. Since
More
last
than
time we
quadrupled.
recorded.
Yeah. I'm starting to look like ZZ Top. Yeah.
You kind of do.
It's been a while, and we apologize. Hopefully, this is our return, like Twin Peaks, the return. I'm hoping that this is a weekly occurrence now, and you will not have to go so long without hearing our nuanced and intelligent and perfect takes on
are you talking
cinema.
about?
Are you talking about a different show right now?
Oh, I'm talking about us.
Oh, okay.
But we are back. I'm Blake,
I'm Ron.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Miles.
and we are talking about. Somebody asked me what we're talking about, so I can introduce it.
Hey, Blake, so what are we talking about today?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Ron. Today we're talking about Love, not the Gaspar Noé film Love, not Love on the Spectrum, not Love Island.
Not that song by Nazareth.
No, it's not a spin-off of You starring the character Love. It's just fucking Love from 2016, the show ran by Judd Apatow and created by Paul Rust. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to talk about it. I kind of wanted to go around really quick and see if any of you guys had seen it, because it is about 10 years old now. I'll start with you, Miles.
Wait. I thought you had a joke.
Yeah, I was, naming all the other things that could have been.
Oh, that was your joke? Okay.
Hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious.
It's about the
5 stars.
The character
I get a
from-
lot of emails.
yeah.
They like my jokes.
It's we're talking about the character from Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
It's Joy.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, people
Oh, is
always
it
tell
Joy?
Blake he has the
No,
best
Love
jokes.
is the android that works for Jared Leto.
Uh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? Is that
Maybe? I don't
Whatever.
fucking know.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Miles, you seen this before?
Yes. Blake pestered me about it for like 4 months a long time ago, like probably like 7 years ago.
Probably 10 years ago, because I watched it
Maybe
when it
10
first
years
came
ago.
out.
Yeah. And he pestered me for like 3 or 4 months. He was like, you got to watch this show. You got to watch this show. And then finally I succumbed. I watched it. It's aged pretty well, I will say. I liked it back then. I still like it now. There's a lot of shows where I can't really say that for. But yeah, it's just overall a good show with a caveat, but we'll get to that later.
Martin Brisby.
I'd seen it before. I watched it when it came out. I watched the first season, and I liked it. And then I watched like part of season 2 when it came out, and I just didn't give a shit for whatever reason. And that's as far as I made it. But I'm really enjoying it this time around. I don't know why I didn't continue with season 2, because I like it now. I guess we'll talk about that next time.
Ronald.
I'd never seen it before. I'm positive you nagged me about it back in the day, but I just didn't watch it. And honestly, I didn't want to watch it just because we hadn't done anything for like a minute. And then you guys are like, let's start off with the show. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I don't want to watch a whole show. It's also just because I just got the DVD box set or the Blu-ray box set for Mad Men.
The VHS.
And I was like, yes, I can't. I've been wanting to rewatch the show for years now. And then you're like, oh, stop. We got to watch this show. And I was like, whoa.
You got the VHS for Mad Men?
Yeah. Exactly.
Mad Men sucks. Who cares?
Actually, VHS would be the way to watch Mad Men.
Funny thing, though, about there's a Mad Men connection, a few Mad Men connections, because John Slattery directed like a bunch of episodes of this, and he plays Roger in Mad Men. And the guy who plays Harry is also in it. He plays, I was going to say...
Dustin, right?
Yeah, the angry guy who's like, you're a fucking slut, like, you're a whore, and he's like, hates her and everything. Which I thought was very funny. Yeah.
I watched this when it first came out, and I really, really liked the first season. I loved it, and about a few weeks ago, I started rewatching it for a reason I'll disclose later because I think it's funny and I think it'll piss off Jason. But for a few weeks ago, I decided to rewatch it, and I was very pleasantly surprised that I liked it about the same or maybe even more, at least the first season, as I originally did. That I feel like, yeah, like Miles said, that's not always the case, right? Especially because 10 years ago I was 20, so much different person. But I was very pleasantly surprised with how much it held up, at least season 1. And the main reason I kind of wanted to talk about this show, not the reason I rewatched it, but the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I think it's just interesting to me how season 1 is very, very good in my opinion. Like I would consider it even a 9 out of 10, like that level.
It is a really good season.
And then I think the rest of the show is not as good. And there's a lot of other shows, which I guess I'll call early streaming shows, that had the exact same kind of trajectory. One that comes to mind is Bloodline, because it's so similar in quality, where very, very good first season, very watchable, but not as good second season, and in my opinion, a bad third season. And there's a couple other shows of the time, like I said, the early streaming shows that had that trajectory, and I just found that kind of to be interesting, and maybe we can get into why that might be later. But for today, all we're doing is talking about season 1. We will return next week and talk about season 2 and 3, and then probably get into that whole phenomenon.
Yeah, I love how we used to just, switch off week to week on what we were going to watch, and Blake's taken over like 2 weeks in a row.
Fuck you. He hasn't even watched
It's like, oh, I'm
after we
sorry.
skipped Jason's
Yeah, can you
pick.
guys watch 3 seasons of television? Thank you.
Well, to be fair, we were supposed to talk about it all today, but some people...
Yeah. No, I didn't watch it.
Blake, you're not one to talk about
That's
not
on me.
watching something that we're supposed to record about.
Well, one of the reasons why whatever. It's fine.
Yes, I didn't watch Sunshine. I'm the worst fucking human being alive.
Oh, yeah. You know what? There's probably a massive audience out there who's just been chomping at the bit.
Dude, we
like,
left
Where's
him.
Sunshine?
We
Where's
left him hanging.
Yeah. Brief rundown. We watched it. I don't feel like watching it again, and it's been so long now that, yeah.
Man, so you're just deciding Jason has to pick another movie.
I get
sorry.
next pick then. Fuck
yes.
you.
No,
Yeah.
Jason gets next pick.
Jason gets next.
My pick's going to be Sunshine.
Well,
I do
okay.
think it's very sorry. Go back about love. I do think it's interesting. It was really part of that like first wave from Netflix of like like they were giving like it was Fincher. It was this guy. It was like Judd Apatow, like giving them like their shows. And I think a show is very fitting for Judd Apatow, right? Like,
Yes.
Obviously, Freaks and Geeks was like the big thing back in the
Yes,
day.
and I fucking love Freaks and Geeks, by the way.
I mean, and I think there's a lot of good movies behind his name and stuff, but like a series, I think fits his style like really well.
Yeah,
I think,
it's because he understands relationships in a really unique way, and like a TV show allows you to just flesh those relationships out way more than a movie.
Well, yeah, you have 90 minutes versus however long your season of television
or like
is.
400 minutes if you saw This Is 40. That was like that was a good movie, but I was watching it and I was like, my God, is this like so long?
Yeah, that movie also is like incredibly depressing.
Yeah, it is. And that was one of those where I was like, I know I have to revisit this when I get older. It just feels like something that like, I'm just not there yet. Obviously I'm barely hitting 30s,
Funnily enough, Jason, you actually mentioned that the other night, Friday, you were like, I think you specifically would really like This Is 40, Blake.
Yeah, I think you would.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Maybe once I'm done with the full Love rewatch, I'll
watch every Apatow movie ever.
No, I don't know about that.
A
Definitely
lot
want
of
to rewatch
Lost
Freaks.
talk in This Is 40, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
It's like Lost.
I'm surprised Gus doesn't talk about Lost and love. That seems like something he'd get hung up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talks
I
about
made a joke.
friends.
I made a joke the other night. I said a lot of our conversations kind of sound like Gus's friends group's conversations. To be honest,
Well, that's something that I think we can get into, which is like the relatability of these characters. Because I've seen people say that they're not relatable, or that they are very relatable. Like, where do you guys stand?
I think
Like,
they're very realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Particularly Mickey. I think Mickey is like
Oh my
a
God.
fucking fantastic character.
And Gillian Jacobs, like
Oh, she's great.
she's almost a detriment to the rest of the show because she's so fucking good. Like she really just kind of becomes that's like the most cliche like film critic thing to say, but she really does kind of just become that character and embodies that character very, very well.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's as much that I can connect with her. It's just like I can connect with the fact that I've known people like that in my life multiple times, right? People who go wild and crazy, and it's like, oh yeah, there's 100 stories about this person.
There's
And
a lot of-
every time they walk into a room, people are like, this thing's gonna go all right.
I mean, it's there's a lot of like self-destructive behavior that I think is why she resonates so well with other people. Like where it's just like she can, she's hitting a lot of those notes where you just like, man, every time she makes a decision that is like it's disguised as kind of like freedom and like like this free spirit kind of character, when it's like really it's masking. Yeah, it's a detriment. It's self-destructive, and it's like oof, it's painful to watch. And oh my god, Rust's character, Gus is it a lot in the same boat as her. Like they're doing very, very similar things,
just in very different ways.
Absolutely, yeah, and yeah, I think that's get into that of like how their characters mirror each other in so many ways, but also they like but the facade that they put on to others, and how maybe when you first meet them, the portrait you kind of paint of them is so different than who they really are.
Yes, and one of the things I really like about at least the first season is, to me, it kind of feels like the inverse of a romantic comedy. Like all of these characters, side characters included, are all kind of archetypes of what you would get in a traditional romantic comedy, but they're very, very real. So Gus is like the nice guy, but the reality of that is he's, a nice guy.
Yeah.
Mickey is the manic pixie dream girl, but the reality of that is she has like all these.
Yeah. What will this person really be like? She's kind of fucked up. Like, there's a lot of issues there. And
all the side characters too. You can make the same point about them. They all fit an archetype one way or another, and they kind of, you really dive into what that would actually mean if you are this person.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked that style of.
I will say that they start off with more negative portrayals of all the characters, right? And then they kind of get into the lighter side of the characters. Whereas sometimes in the inverse, it's everybody's painted as being like absolutely perfect to begin with, and then they get into their faults later on, right? Yeah. Unless it's something that's being played for laughs. But this show doesn't really play the characters for laughs. It kind of just goes with this character, and it's like, okay, we're going to kind of show you something raw, something real, or at least real feeling.
A lot of the humor, I think, comes from the awkwardness and like the painful.
Yeah, the situations.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cringe
God.
humor, which is probably a huge reason this appeals to me. That's my favorite type of comedy, is when you're like, oh my God, I can't even look at the screen right now. There's a lot of that in this. A good example is the episode where Gus takes Birdie on a date. Oh my God, that episode is actually painful.
Which is one of the things I loved. I loved how everything there played out, where it's like these two people that are, nice people, that they're supposed to be like, oh, really sweet, and of course they'll like get along together. It's like they feel perfect, and it's like maybe in some romantic comedy that they would, because she feels more like the archetype character that like Gus would end up with or something. But it's like, no, you really see why they're not good for each other at all, and how he needs to work on himself a lot, and she also does need to, but like she's also kind of got it figured out like a lot more than he does. She's probably one of the few characters who
Birdie's the most sane character in the show.
Yeah, or she seems to have like the most like emotional intelligence, where she's like, this doesn't feel right for me, I'm gonna excuse myself from the situation, and also like holding like Mickey accountable. Like I'm just like, no, that's not okay. Like
I love her in the season 1 finale with the whole so this wasn't about, or it's not the finale, it's the penultimate episode where Mickey's trying to like basically stalk Gus, but like do it in an acceptable way. So she kind of takes Birdie as like essentially as a prop.
Yeah.
But she words it to Birdie as, I'm sorry, I was kind of shitty to you yesterday. Let's have a Birdie day. Let's do something LA. You're new to town. Let's go to a studio tour. And then Birdie's like, oh, okay, that sounds like a lot of fun. And then she realizes later on why she's really there. And she's like, oh, so this isn't about me at all. You brought me so you don't look like a crazy person. That's really shitty of you. And I don't like that you're using me. Yeah. I love that Birdie like just stands up for herself in the penultimate episode and the finale. It's great.
It feels very real. Not like in the sense that maybe most people would actually say that, but it's like what you would really want to say.
I think a lot of people would say that. I've met some Birdies.
Yeah,
that's why Birdie's the sanest character in the show.
I disagree.
You think it's Arya, but that's a child, so it's different.
That's the problem, though. It's like, and they play it off where it's like, hey, this child, she's like got the most rational mind going on. All she wants to do is be a kid. Yeah. And she has to put up with acting and all this stuff, and she hates it.
And her fucking parents, just trying to manipulate and control her.
You're talking about season 2?
Is that season 2?
No, but every good thing that happens to Gus is because of Arya.
You do see her mom once when she rushes out. She's crying because she's upset because Gus tells her like, "Oh, you're gonna get older," and most child actors like burn out or have like horrible lives and shit, which was kind of great, but also like maybe a little bit necessary just because it's like, yeah, dude, there's an illusion that's kind of built around.
But also, Gus does it in the worst way possible.
Yeah, the worst possible.
Where he's like, you might end up looking weird or something.
It's just great. And then like the mom is like, "How dare you?" And like you can just tell that she's one of those moms that's like clearly just trying to bank off of her.
They definitely get into Arya's parents more in the later seasons, and I do like those.
I look forward to
lines.
that a bit. Yeah.
So I want to get back to Birdie though, because you guys talk about her being a nice character. I never saw her.
I don't think
being
she's
nice.
nice. I think
overly positive. Right?
I think her and Gus are. Yeah, she's overly positive, but I think her and Gus are like. They put on a good front of being nice. I think
but it's
Birdie's
not even
probably,
that she's putting on a nice image. She's just putting on a positive, joyful image, right? It's not necessarily that she's being nice.
I think she's just emotionally healthy would be a better way of saying it. Because she will, as you said, she'll like if she feels like she's being slighted, she will stand up for herself. And neither Gus nor Mickey.
And she does it.
Well, Mickey will, but like.
But she does it in a healthy
way.
Yeah, like Birdie does it in the healthiest way possible.
She does it in a very mature.
Mickey
manner.
will like
Explode.
crash your place.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the episode I always look to is episode 2, the party episode, right? Or is that episode 3?
Which party?
That's like
the
episode
pool
3
one
or
That's episode
the pool
3.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Right. And they're there at the party, and that's where you really start to see, hey, Gus, he's awkward in small situations, but in large groups, he's a lot of fun.
When Gus isn't overthinking the situation, he's like the coolest guy in the room. You like that party scene's a great example, right? When he's just jamming out and playing songs and he's kind of flirting with that other girl and he's just genuinely making friends. Or another good example would actually be the same episode, the episode where he goes on a date with Birdie. Once he knows that that he's shot his chance, him and Birdie kind of just have a fun time.
They hit it off more.
So you see that multiple times where when Gus isn't overthinking everything, he's actually like great to
which
be
again
around.
feels very real because it's like there's so
exactly.
many situations where it's like you feel once the pressure's off, it's like, oh, I can just be myself. It's like that's why people like hanging out with their friends and shit.
But what I was gonna get to when I was talking about the party is because you don't just see Gus, right, and who he really is, right, because that's when you really start seeing their flaws. You also see Mickey. You see, hey, her friends like her, but she really, did some wild stuff back in the day. Like everybody is worried constantly throughout the party. What trouble is Mickey going to cause, right?
Yeah, because she's like the one who in the friend group who hasn't really moved on.
Yeah.
She hasn't grown up.
Yeah.
But even then, she was, wilder than the rest.
Yeah, definitely.
Even to begin with, right? And then you have Birdie, right? And Birdie's there. She's having a good time, but you can see that she's struggling to try to connect with people, and she's really working hard to connect with people throughout it. And she's kind of putting a lot more effort in than anybody else.
I still
right?
see that as a more healthy approach than Gus, who tends to.
But she's got high anxiety, and you can tell that she's very anxious throughout the whole thing.
Well, I think
Right.
when I say she's the sanest character, I think I mostly mean she's like the most healthy, like emotionally.
Yeah.
Like she tends to do things the right way.
And I think it's completely normal to feel like anxious and because she's like
And she's
not just in a
new-
new situation.
she's
in
new
a-
to the
She's in a
country.
new country. Yeah, she's in a new group of people. She met Mickey the day before.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
Like-
I'm not saying that it's not normal for her to do that, but I'm just saying that, like, when you say she's, that healthiest, sanest person there, no, she's struggling with issues too. And
Well,
you
I
that
know.
needs to be
I think she handles
recognized.
them the best out of all the core characters.
But what were you gonna say, Jason?
Oh, I was going to bring up Chris. Chris is also pretty.
He takes things the right way as well.
Yeah, he's in many ways he's the male Birdie.
Which one's Chris?
The
his, like,
stuntman
tall
friend.
The
one-
waiter, not a stuntman.
Well, he
the
wants to
waiter.
be a stuntman.
He wants to be
Oh yeah.
But he's a waiter.
He gets a little more coverage in the later seasons as
Yeah.
well. Ron. Yeah, Chris, same thing, right? Chris is very, he has his own issues, but yeah, he also does, much like Birdie, he handles them in a much more, I almost said professional, much more mature way than Gus or Mickey. Because I feel like, so Gus will just be super, super passive aggressive and Mickey will explode. That's what they kind of do. Chris and Birdie, they tend to express their issues in a more straightforward, healthy way. They still do have issues.
See, okay, so I think that it's being misinterpreted here, honestly, because I don't think that the way that they express their issues is a straightforward or healthy way. I think that they are just being overly positive about everything, right? And by putting on that air of positivity, they make, like, they won't confront their problems, right?
But Birdie confronted it immediately. When Mickey used her, she was
rubs
like,
it off. It took her a while to get to that point, though. But that's like, she lets it build up for a long time. How long was Mickey, pushing her and basically making her punching bag before she finally said something? And look at the end result of it. Did Mickey get any better? No, Birdie just gave up on it. No, because this is how they are. They're completely positive.
I'm just saying season 1, right? Because it's at the end, the second to last episode. She calls her out. She says, "Hey, that's not okay. What you did. That's not all right." And that's something that is, again, she handled it maturely and I think arguably, as we're saying, in a healthy way, rather than like blowing up on her or like, I don't know, trashing Mickey's car or doing something else.
Or being Gus and being very like, oh, well, and
then making it like twisting it into some weird situation. She just called her out immediately, said it wasn't okay, and then she left. And then she didn't like take it any further than that, and because she didn't really have to, because otherwise than that, it's like, what's she gonna do? Just tear Mickey down like piece by piece and just be like, how? I don't know. I think she handled it well. Like I think that's what we're saying. It's like
but there's multiple parts to dealing with the problem, right? It's not the healthy way to deal with the problem.
Oh my god,
man! What do you want someone to do, Miles?
Yeah, what do you think is the right way? What's the healthiest way to respond to that?
Do you want people to be fucking robots?
No.
The second anyone like a friend slights someone, it's like fucking over. Because I know that's not true of you, right?
No, but you got to shut that shit down. You don't say it's over, but like
she does shut that shit down.
No, she doesn't. That's her shutting it down. Like
dude, as soon as one is like a week. Like
I know it's that first.
It's
time,
like 7 days.
Yeah, it's as soon as she identifies what happened and what's happening. She's like, no, this is not okay, and shut it out immediately. And then she left.
Oh, and in fact, there's actually a great little contrast too on the same topic, and then we can move on from Birdie because we've covered Birdie. I think at least everything that we need to in season 1. There is a great moment. This is what I'm talking about. In the first episode, she's there to interview with Mickey, and Mickey says, should we talk about roommate boundaries? And Birdie goes, oh, I think we're very similar. And it's like, oh, no, Birdie, you're not. Like, Mickey is trying to kind of meet you at your level. Because, like, I think Mickey basically breaks all of those boundaries throughout the first season, right? She kind of directly pulls Birdie into this, her own hectic, chaotic world.
Yeah. I know this is another point of controversy, but I did want to talk about Mickey's boss, who I think was also another one of those inversions of where you think that he's going to be this like toxic,
Miles, hold it,
manipulating, controlling douchebag, and I think arguably you can say that him asking her out and everything, and her being her boss and everything in a position of power is not best to cross that boundary or whatever, but he seems like this is where I think where we diverge, where it's like, I think at least in that moment, at least season 1 and everything, that's the only thing that I've seen. I think he's being honest when he tells her I was trying to ask you out. I wanted to be with you because I like you as a person. And she expected him to be the manipulative, like jerk boss who's just using her and stuff.
Yeah. So
yes. Now, I do want to preface this with, I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of my favorite moments in season 1.
Yeah.
I feel like they fucked this up in season 2 and 3 because they do kind of take his character in a direction I don't like. They kind of make him the trope that he wasn't. But in season 1, I fucking love that moment. I love the moment where he says, so basically for context, Mickey has sex with him so he quote unquote can't fire her.
Yeah, it's like, now you can't fire me.
Because she
And
believes
he's like,
that
what?
he fires women that turn down his advances. It turns out that's not the case. He gives very reasonable reasons for why he let go.
Claims that's not the case.
Okay, let me finish my point, Miles. You're getting Zuckerberg, motherfucker. It's a reference to off the air conversations.
Maybe.
Maybe. He gives very perfectly reasonable reasons for why he would have fired them. She said, how come I didn't hear them? He's like, well, I didn't want to ruin their reputation. And then he has one of my favorite lines of season 1. He says something along the lines of, you know what? Like, I have to go because you really hurt my feelings. Because is this the kind of person you think I am? And throughout the rest of season 1, you never get the indication that's the kind of guy he is. He's a little weird and he's a little bit overstepping. But he's definitely,
he's bitter, which I think is understandable.
because he's like
when she's really calling him out on the air, which you could definitely say was crossing a line that wasn't okay.
But even then, he's kind of telling her
he's giving
real
her
information.
Yeah,
like,
being
everything he's saying is correct.
Yeah, and that's where it kind of leads to the finale, which we can get into later. But I think it's he's giving her legitimate advice, and yeah,
I agree.
He's gaslighting her. It's gaslighting 101.
okay.
Jason, what do you think?
I don't know.
I agree with you too. I think.
I don't even get to say anything.
Sorry.
Wait, hold on. You can come right at the end if you want. If that's all right.
Fine,
Well,
fine. I got to go off on this. So
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We're waiting for that. We know that's going to be another 10 minutes, so let's get into this.
Let's get everyone's opinion first
Yeah.
before your 30-minute monologue.
What's the guy's name?
Dr. Greg. And by the way,
Dr.
you're the
Greg.
of all the characters, you're Dr. Greg.
Oh, jeez.
that might
He
be
was pointing
true.
at Miles, by the way.
Yeah. Audio listeners, those who don't tune in to our super
Yeah,
secret
for our
video.
People who aren't watching from the windows.
Yeah, our non-omnipotent listeners,
Go ahead, Jason.
Well, yeah, Dr. Greg. I mean, you guys said it. It is manipulative to a point where he is, yes, her boss and in a position of power, and it's manipulative to the point where Mickey feels like, okay, well, now I have to get him, right? I have to fuck him in order to preserve my job. It's a little fucked up, but you do find out that he's coming from a genuine place, and it is kind of sad. You feel bad for him, which is not something that happens before or after in the show.
Yeah. I will say, I think that is also important because when people talk about like power dynamics in like jobs, like, in careers and stuff like that, when people are like, well, they said it was okay or whatever. And it's like, sometimes this is a great example of why there are larger things that go on that influence it to where it's like she felt like she had to do it. She didn't have to. She could have not done it, but she felt like she had to because of like what had happened before.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, so in her mind, she was like, fuck, if I don't do this, like I'm going to lose my job. And that's a pretty fucked up place to go. And that's why it's, better as, if a boss or in a position of power not to try to go after your subordinates because it puts them in a really fucked up position.
Yeah,
So-
like she also says like, oh, he's done this before. He
Yeah.
fired 2 women recently, and she thinks it's because he like was advancing upon them. But then she finds out one of them was stealing, and the other one was just stupid.
He says, well, what about Melanie? Melanie was fucking dumb. Really quick, and I want to say one last thing. Because one of the other things I really, really liked about this, why it was, and I'm really glad Ron brought it up, because it is one of my favorite moments of season 1. Probably another reason I liked it so much when I first saw it, because I would have been, 20 or 21? It was about 10 years ago. It is a really good lesson for a young adult that you shouldn't just assume the worst out of someone, because that can backfire on you. Like, it's good to be cautious, and it's good to try and, it's not good to trust everyone blindly, and it's good to be cautious, but it's also not good to just make assumptions for the worst about someone with not all the information. I don't know. I thought it, as a 21-year-old, I thought it was a really insightful thing because I had made that mistake before, and I thought it was just a really well-written situation that does happen to young adults.
Okay, so Miles,
All right,
what are your
let's hear
thoughts
it.
on this situation and this character?
Okay, what he did was totally unacceptable from the beginning. I
agree.
He is in a position of power. He came to her and was
agree.
propositioning her, right?
Yeah.
This man Okay, I think you guys are all forgetting here. He's a love therapist. He fucking, like, the one thing that he knows about is how to fuck with people's heads, okay? Right? That's the one thing he knows how to do is fuck with people's heads, right?
Yeah.
So he comes at her, and he's talking to her, trying to be like, yeah, you and me, we need to get together. Really, like, the way that he comes at it is creepy. You got to look at it from the beginning. The whole time leading up to it, every single scene, did you ever feel comfortable once with the situation?
No.
I
You're
agree.
right.
It is
No.
uncomfy.
Okay, and it did feel like she was being pressured to be there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see that.
So when
yeah.
he comes in with his fancy words and he's like, oh, well, that's not what this was about. I wouldn't have fired you, right? Oh, yeah, I fired this person because she was dumb, right? Like, I fired this person because she was stealing from me. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
So you just don't buy
I
what he was
I don't
saying.
buy that. It's gaslighting. He gaslit the shit out of her, right? He made her feel bad for his bad actions. And I honestly, that is one time where I think that Mickey was not in the wrong.
I will say I don't know. I think that they're both in the wrong.
Well,
for
she
different reasons.
shouldn't have
but
banged him. That wasn't cool. But at the same time, she was put in that position by him, so that's
Yeah.
kind of his fault.
No, I you know what I do kind of see what you're saying though, in the sense that like
Well, he shouldn't have asked her out. He's absolutely.
he shouldn't have asked her out. And also he specializes in like romantic, relationship stuff. So he does he apparently does have some knowledge of her past relationship with Kyle Kinane, by the way. Shout out. I love Kyle Kinane, so I was very happy to
that-
see him in this.
He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Is that the Dustin or the other guy?
the first guy she's hooking up with, the guy who's
The first guy's fucking hilarious
Yeah,
in his
he's-
first episode.
Yeah, I
so
wish
funny.
he was in it more.
Yeah.
You'll read Pride and Prejudice? I'll read Cujo. he's like
Super
flipping,
funny.
he's like manically flipping through the book.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
he's
was
fantastic.
I wasn't expecting him to show up, so I was
Oh,
very happy.
he has the funniest line of the series, but at least the first season, by the way. His
Yeah.
line is like, "It's just you think it's gonna be all serious, Mickey? It's just I want to fuck you sober."
Yeah. So she's coming from like a fucked up relationship and everything that he seems to be well aware of. So he probably knows the kind of person she is or the kind of the headspace she's coming from, and she's definitely a vulnerable person. So I think him coming at her from that way, I kind of see what you're saying, where it's like, okay, yeah, he is in the wrong, but at the same time, I don't think he necessarily meant to do it. But I think that's why it's important, where it's like, just because his original intention maybe wasn't to just take advantage of her, it doesn't mean that he didn't, So it's like that, it's kind of
blurry.
Yeah,
Hey.
it's a. But I think that's kind of the point of the show in a
I
lot of
will
ways. Is
say-
that these are all very messy and blurry situations. No
could
one's
even
walking away
say-
innocent here.
You could even kind of parallel Dr. Greg with Gus in a lot of ways, where they're both kind of like clearly chronicle. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Chronic overthinkers who tend to analyze social situations.
Yeah.
And they do kind of explore that in season 2. a little
It's
bit.
also sorry. Do you want to go?
Oh, just one thing on Mickey's relationships with her previous boyfriends, even with Gus, right? When she approaches him, she thinks that he's a weird kind of strange dude, right?
is.
She even says that. She's like,
Right?
"You're a weird little dude."
But why does she? That seems to be all of her boyfriends. Why does she seem to like that?
I think she. I
'Cause-
mean, I don't know. I would guess that it's because she's such a weird, kind of messed up person. She wants to find somebody else because if she finds like a super normal, regular guy, she's gonna be like, this is it's boring, and 2, it's like he won't. Like, I don't deserve that, maybe, or
I think
maybe,
Dustin is like the example of that, right? Like,
Yeah.
even though he's kind of crazy
And an asshole.
in this, but he's like very hurt by her because she just like walked all over him. But he seemed like probably the most normal of her exes.
And
Yeah.
they
Which
all
one's
seem,
Dustin?
The guy who like
the one that punched the other one.
at the party.
At the party.
The
The one that
with
was
the
like, you
dog.
cheated on me and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that
Oh,
guy.
okay. Well, I don't know. That guy also seemed like he
Okay.
had problems too.
Caused by her, though. I think is the point.
Yeah.
I feel like she likes dating losers because it's really hard for somebody to judge her if they aren't if she feels like she's better.
I
than
mean,
them.
I guess-
right.
Also,
So she's constantly looking for somebody that she can feel superior to because she has an inferiority
I mean,
complex.
Do you consider Gus to be a loser?
She does.
Okay.
Right? She does. She considers Gus to be a loser. And I think that the face that he puts on around, just people when it's one-on-one and he doesn't really understand what the situation is that of a loser. I mean, that's the dichotomy of Gus right there, right? Because when
does get
he's
shit on
in
a
his
lot.
element,
Oh, he does.
he's the shit. He's the greatest thing ever. But when he's kind of, in a place where he's not in power, where he doesn't have
Well, let's talk about
friends
Gus,
and
because
stuff,
Gus is.
then it's different.
We've talked a lot about Mickey, but Gus is. I mean, he's also the main, also a main character.
Yeah.
And B is equally as interesting. And I do think Paul Rudd
Yeah.
does a very good job with him, where he can do that almost Clark Kent Superman thing, right? Whether he's the very, very insecure nerd who's like hiding in the corner, or if he's let loose and having fun and playing his bass guitar. It's an impressive performance. Gus is really interesting to me because he's much like Mickey. He's a character that there's a lot of things I really don't like about him, and there's a lot of things I really do like about him. And it's complicated when you try and sift through the opposing lists that are going against each other, because he is, I think, deep down kind of a good dude, and he feels his emotions very strongly, but also he's very passive aggressive. Another great line, and they kind of bookend this in the season, when he's breaking up with his first girlfriend, she says, "You're not nice. You're fake nice," which is worse than being mean. And then they bring that back in the penultimate episode with Mickey, where she says, "Oh, you know what? You're actually really mean. Do you know that? You're really mean." And that's true, because he can be. He can be really cruel and mean. So it's a bizarre.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole in a lot of situations, and it's like I don't know. And yes, he does use the nice guy ruse, which is something that has become a lot, the nice guy idea has become very prevalent, right? And it's like, I think he fits it pretty well.
I think that was more prevalent 10 years ago. I feel like that's
Yeah.
a conversation people don't have as much
That's
anymore.
true, yeah.
But yes, he is definitely the quote unquote nice guy.
It's like, I'm nice. Don't I deserve this? And it's like,
I feel like it is slightly different. I feel like, okay, so there's a difference between fake nice and attempting to be nice, right? He's not naturally a nice person. He's trying to be nice, but he doesn't know how.
I
right?
think he's fake nice sometimes,
I-
though.
Give me an example of him being fake nice, right? Where
The best,
he's
got
one's,
just
the
like,
best one's in season 2 for me, so you go ahead.
This is just like a throwaway moment, but it just kind of stuck out to me. When they go to the party and Gus shows up early, right?
Yeah.
He's the first one there. And then Mickey finally shows up, and she was like, "Oh, you got here early." And she's like, what does he say? He says something like, "Oh, yeah, I thought you said 6:42." Just like kind of saying like, "You kind of fucked me over here, but like I'm going to make a joke about it."
But also in a way that's pointing blame at her.
Yes.
There's a really good example in season 2, so I guess I'll save it for our season 2 discussion. But there's a lot of moments like that. He has very weaponized vocabulary. Like, there's a lot of things he says.
he does seem to know how to like kind of cut to the core of a lot of people, it seems like, and he kind of weaponizes it a bit.
well,
I think
he has
maybe
trouble being honest is the problem. And I think that he feels deeply hurt and offended by people who do step over him on stuff, right? And step on him with stuff. And he has trouble expressing that. Now, that's a typical thing among Midwesterners. I mean, I've spent some time in the Midwest, and
Let's not generalize
it's not-
an entire group of people. I'm kidding.
yeah, but no, it's the passive. It's not really even passive aggressiveness, but it's like kind of like passive condescendingness.
yeah, as I like
know?
like the stereotypical like Southerners, like bless your heart,
Yeah.
rather than it's like just
I'm
say.
gonna pray for you.
It's like you just tell me to go fuck myself. Like, yeah, like what?
And it's not really being passive aggressive. It's being like passive condescending, right?
I'd
It's
call it
weird.
passive aggressive.
I would say it is passive
Man, if
aggressive.
the only character you're going to defend on the whole show is Gus.
I'm not defending Gus. I already went out and I said my piece about Gus earlier, but I'm just saying that he tries to be a nice guy. for
Or
most part.
the other date episode, the Magic Castle episode.
Oh, that one I think I really liked that one because
Yes.
that one it's like both of them again they're in the wrong
They're
and
both.
but they're both also kind of right in their own ways where it's like she is being like very disrespectful and like very like, you know, like she's not trying to commit to, like she's not trying to really like go along with this thing that he's clearly very passionate about. And I know as like a nerd how much that can hurt. Like when you're just like, I really care about this thing and people just like shit on it and it's like, well, fuck. But at the same time, I also know what it's like to be Gus, where he's like he's forcing this thing on her, and then she says the great line of like, what was it? Like,
you can't take someone somewhere and demand that they have a certain reaction to it.
yes, it's like, because you can't. You can just say like, you can hope, and I think the least they could do is at least try to like, you know, appreciate or whatever it is, or at least give some, you know, try to see it. But you can't expect them to be like, well, now you like it, and it's like, well, no. And it's like, I think that was such a good episode for their dynamic and their relationship and showing why they don't exactly work, at least at this phase of their lives.
And she has that other really good line too, where she says, dude, there were things about it I really liked,
Yeah.
but you didn't like that I liked
Yes.
that and not the other thing.
Exactly. And I think
Yeah,
that's
if Gus had-
super important.
If Gus had let her just have the fun that she wanted to have, it probably would have been
Yeah,
a much better
because like
experience.
she did find something that like, oh, I'm interested in this, or like there's something there that could have maybe led to a deeper appreciation of what it was, because like she clearly was not connecting to the magic at all, but she was connecting to the other person's reaction, and that is also can be a very beautiful thing and can lead to like, you know, deeper appreciation. But like he didn't allow her because she's like, that's not no.
But then conversely,
He's
she
dictating how she feels. about it.
conversely she fucks up by making a scene when they
yeah.
with the whole jacket thing, which to be fair is kind of ridiculous.
That
It
is
is
ridiculous. I
ridiculous.
It's
don't
a
like
fucking
that.
magic
But
show.
I thought that was also very interesting. Even before they leave the house, when she's like, "You pick my outfit," and he picks like the most
Yes, dude.
ridiculous,
Yeah.
like
it
kind of
looks like she's going to prom.
yeah, like the like little cocktail dress, and she's like, "Well, I'm immediately cold and like uncomfortable in this," and he's just like, "Yeah," because he kind of like, I feel like I got the impression that he kind of wanted to like show her off,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
like, and it's like, you know, again, just going at it very differently, but
You
it's
got
like
the sauce for her. Okay, what else do you want? I love that scene, by the way, when like she wants to get like a specific sushi roll, but she wants like a sauce, and the sushi restaurant's like, "Oh, you have to get this dish for that sauce." And Gus like gets that dish, and he's like, "Just so you know, I didn't want this. I just got it so you could have your sauce."
Yeah, that's an example of like, yeah, being nice, but like he didn't have to say that. He could have just done it, and then that
Yeah.
was it, and that would have been the nice thing, I guess. But instead, he has to like make sure that I did this nice thing for you, and you need to know that. And now like, and that immediately manipulates her emotions to then be like, now you have to appreciate this gesture rather than just appreciating the fucking gesture, like just letting it speak for itself. Like, I don't
It
know.
would have been funny if she just didn't like the sauce and didn't eat it. He would have been so fucking mad.
Yeah. It's like she didn't ask him to do that, but he just chose to, and then now is using that nice gesture against her, and it's like that's where the passive aggressive, like weird manipulation thing comes
Okay, I'll agree with you on that one. Yeah.
from. But yeah, no, that's probably that. I think that was one of the moments in the show where like, or the episodes where like I really locked in. I was like, I do.
It's a
really like
great
this show.
episode overall. You see them both at their best and their worst, and that's kind of what's so great about it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it is going, aside from that, it goes pretty well at the whole dinner scene at the sushi restaurant. It's like you see them connect, they're talking, it's very natural. It's not really until they get to the magic castle that things start to go a little off the rails in kind of a realistic way.
And yeah, I think that's one of the, because I was gonna ask this next, like what aspects of the show kind of maybe related or that resonated with you the most? And I think that episode related with me a lot, where I was just like, oh shit, like I've felt this, like both sides of this, and I'm just like, and it I don't know, it not necessarily struck a chord, but like, you know, just kind of like oof. Like I definitely felt it. Were there a certain, like maybe an episode or a moment that kind of, I know, like you kind of said something.
Yeah,
about-
the one that I really relate to is the assuming the worst out of someone and then having that just blow up in your face.
Yeah. You guys have anything like that? Sorry, I just dropped this on you.
Okay, so I can't remember. Was this in season 1? The Heidi Gus breakup.
Heidi.
Oh.
I think the fall. Oh yeah,
No.
it is, isn't
Is
it?
it?
Which one's?
Oh, yeah.
Was that the
It
last
is.
episode? of
His
season 1?
actress.
Oh, the actress chick who she's
Yeah.
just like,
we should
oh,
talk about
fuck
that
you.
episode too. By
Yeah,
the way.
that one's a good one too. But yeah, that whole dynamic was
Yeah.
funny and I think very interesting. It had that like kind of trope of like they're both interested in this guy or whatever, but like they played it very well. I think, I don't know. And also, she was kind of terrible too. But like,
Oh, she
for
was
different
awful.
reasons. Yeah.
She was just crazy. And I love. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it because it was in season 2. But
What part of that resonated with you? Do you think?
Was it in
The
season
breakup,
2?
right? Like,
well, yeah, just the breakup. It just felt so like, it didn't feel good, right? Like I almost didn't want to watch. I was like, oh god, like he's basically like revealing to her, yeah, I suggested that you were the one who lost your job, and this is kind of happening because of me, because I was.
It's because he wanted to get credit for.
Yeah,
It's because he had like a bruised ego,
Yeah.
essentially. But you know what Mickey and Gus have in common the most is bruised egos is like what motivates them to the most.
Yeah.
Like they're both very motivated by their own individual ideas of themselves.
That was a great episode and a great moment though. The writers' table.
Oh my god!
scene.
Dude.
I was like, Jesus.
Could not watch.
It's like he's presented this amazing opportunity that like kind of fell into his lap that he was prepared for and everything, and that's great. But then he just keeps fumbling it, and it's like, okay, that's bad.
He can't
maybe,
yet.
yeah, like maybe he still make his way out of this. Nope, and he just keeps digging himself a deeper and deeper hole where it's like, okay, now
to the point where he's just insulting every single person in
yeah,
that room.
it's like now you're fired. You've completely burned all these bridges, and it's like you're just fucked. And then if it wasn't for the girl, like Deus Maxim, kind of.
He was right about the fire
Which,
thing,
by
though.
the way, is great.
That's one of the funniest moments of the whole show for me is when Arya gets him hired back, and then that guy, what's his name, like Evan or whatever, he's like, you're a cunt.
You work on a set. What's Evan's job? Is he like the AD or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
think
you have
so.
a little girl fight your battles for you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that throughout the whole series. Like that guy just does not like Gus.
Yeah.
Oh, there is one
And
moment.
I don't think he's wrong so
Most
far.
people on that
Yeah.
fucking set
Don't
do not like that.
except for the
Kevin.
the food catering guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
By the
crafty.
way, great side character. Fucking
Chris
love
Rock's
him.
brother, by
Chris-
the way.
Chris
Oh,
Rock-
really?
Yeah.
I love when
Fantastic.
everyone's like starts talking, speaking to him about his problems, and he's just like, "Why are you doing this? Like, I don't understand." And they're like, "I don't know. You just like Gus seems like he's doing well." Like, and he's like, "What?"
I love what Arya said to get Gus's job back. She's like, yeah, he's not a writer. He doesn't fucking know what the show's
She
about.
says he doesn't understand the camp quality of the show. And then Gus's boss goes, "I agree, but."
Yeah, because
Said, why would you hire him as a writer? Every time he talks about the show, it's wrong. He doesn't get the camp quality we're going for here.
That's so good.
Yeah,
Yes.
so- Gus would be the type of nerd to want to make that ultra serious or something.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's just like just because we're making a show, like, doesn't mean we can't make it good. And it's like,
oh my
now
god!
it's not
In the,
good?
in the
Jesus.
writers' room, well, in the writers' room, when he says, "Oh, we'd just be adding more plot holes."
yeah, it's like, Jesus, dude.
Obviously, the worst part is when he lifts up the laptop to try and look to see if they're writing his ideas down. And then he fucking like throws it.
Yeah, he
He's
just slams.
What's
it.
he
It's
say? He says, "I didn't mean for it to hit the thing that hard."
Yeah.
He's like, oh my god.
I love that he called it plot holes too, because that's like one of the most like triggering like fucking like reviews that people give when they're like, it's just plot holes, and it's like I don't even think you know what that means. I think just because you didn't like a scene or something, it's like suddenly it's a plot hole. That was very good.
He
though.
did have a point a couple of times though. The fire in an episode called Witch Hunt,
Yeah.
somebody burning kind of is like
No.
a good way to off them.
No, I
Right?
agree. I don't think
And-
that's a bad call, but it's like again, it's just
And
the way
then
he
also-
approaches everything is like
The
nuclear.
worst way possible.
Yeah, it's like Jesus.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about Wichita once we're done with Love. They should make a live action Wichita.
It's called Supernatural. It already
Yeah, I was gonna
exists.
say.
Or no, I was getting vibes of like the Sabrina series, like the
Oh,
live
yeah.
action, the Netflix. Speaking Netflix,
Or
yeah,
Charmed.
yeah, classic Buffy.
They're remaking that, by the way, or rebooting it.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
There was like another one in the Sabrina universe that was going on around the same
There.
time.
Archer,
think.
I heard was like it had a lot of not Archer, Riverdale.
Yeah,
It had, like,
Riverdale.
a
that
bunch of-
one's in the same universe. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
They're the same universe.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Shy likes that show. I've heard it's.
Yeah, I think Rose has watched
Watchable.
it too, but I don't know. I've walked in and then she's like, "There's some crazy shit happening right now." But yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we've pretty much hit all the good
We should
points.
probably
Yeah.
talk about the finale.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think
let's
the
do that.
finale is very, very good on its own. Like I I love how they end the show so much that I almost wish it was just the ending of the whole series.
I
'Cause it's
kind
so
of agree.
fucking good.
Even though, like, we'll talk about season 2, but I do think
They
I just didn't
cliffhangered
give
it
season
hard,
2
though.
enough of a chance the first time around because I think it's good.
There's good stuff in it.
good.
Season 2 isn't terrible. I do think a little bit of the magic is gone, and we'll get into that next
Yeah.
week.
A
But
common Netflix issue.
it is watchable. But anyways, the finale though, it's such a great moment because and for context, in case you need reminding, or you haven't watched it and you just like our voices, it ends with Mickey has finally started to seek help for her issues. She identifies her alcohol addiction, but also her addiction to the very concept of love and sex, like as a whole. Gus is very upset with her because they had a huge falling out, and he's pretty much done with her, right? Like he's deleted her from his phone. He doesn't want anything to do with her. He goes to and I have another thing I'm going to bring up because I know Miles is thinking the same thing. He goes to the convenience store where they first meet initially, which, by the way, fucking 10 out of 10 pilot. One of the best pilots I've seen in years. But anyways, they go to the spot where they first meet. Mickey meets up with them there, and she admits all her faults. She says, look, I'm sorry. Just give me a minute to talk, and then I'll leave you alone. I'm an alcoholic. I'm addicted to love and sex, and I'm sorry I fucked things up because you were a really, really good guy. I really enjoyed meeting you. I really need to be alone for a year, and then if you were maybe interested, how about we grab a cup of coffee? And then Gus goes to kiss her, and that's how it ends. It's such a perfect ending because it kind of paints this picture of they're just trapped in this cycle, both of them. Because also it should be noted that she kisses him back. It's not like he kisses and then she immediately pulls away. He kisses and then she starts kissing back and it ends. To me, it kind of defines the faults of both of them, where they're just stuck in this eternal cycle of trying to be fixed or find someone to fix. They're trapped in their own shit. I love it. It's such a good fucking end to season 1.
And then also, I think that it kind of completes Mickey's story arc, right? Because she has finally attended an AA meeting. Or, well, I guess a sex...
Love and sex.
Slaw.
Yeah, slaw meeting.
Coleslaw.
Right? Because...
Is that a real thing? Are we offending people?
Well,
I'm sure that they're real sex addiction meetings.
No, I know.
they're
Obviously.
absolutely-
you hear her throughout the whole show.
But they're called slaw.
Talking
I'm gonna
about,
look it up.
oh yeah, I've been in AA and done all this stuff, but you haven't really seen her like do it or put in the work.
No.
You've got the Andy Dick episode, which
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
We should have talked about that one.
yeah,
We still can. Do it
Yeah,
really
we
quick.
still can.
I know you have a lot of words on it, Jason.
But before we get to that, but you got the Andy Dick episode, right? Where she's kind of going through the motions of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do drugs with Andy Dick. We're both alcoholics.
Never a good idea.
Yay.
Yeah.
Play a Fiddler song.
They do. I was like, wait, hold on a second. Is that Fiddler? It's Blake's favorite band.
Yeah.
One of.
No, and you kind of see her arc get completed. Gus has been fired from his job. He's back now, but he's never going to be a writer, right?
At least not on this show.
But it's made pretty clear that he doesn't really have what it takes to make it as a writer in Hollywood, and he's stuck where he is, right? He's reached for the stars and fell out of the sky.
Yeah, he's like, best case scenario is like basically just mailing scripts to people and just collecting a check, because if he actually has to work in a room with people, he's a maniac.
It's not going to work, right? And so he's left with that, and his girlfriend, who is the actress that was like all about him, totally encouraging him to like be better and stuff and get more into the industry, she's broken up with him, and it's he has failed. Mickey has failed as well. And you kind of see them at the end of the line where it's like, hey, they both kind of tried, but nope, they screwed everything up. And that's a good ending.
Well,
continuing on to season 2, though, just a prelude. When you start developing characters beyond kind of how they were originally designed, that can cause issues.
I agree. More with the side characters, but I don't want to get into that just yet. But I love that ending. Jason, do you want to talk about Andy Dick really quick? I know you're a big fan of him, and you say that he's never done anything wrong, and you're best
No.
friends with him. And
No, it's just really
people can email you if they have a problem with him.
that episode in hindsight is just
Sad.
very, very sad. And I don't want to get all TMZ here, but like it really felt like he was doing that episode for himself. Like it felt like it probably really resonated with him because he struggled with alcohol and shit, and and like you watch him like talk it out like in real time, and then we now know what is
didn't figure it
become
out.
of him. He's become a lol cow.
That was very controversial at the time. Too,
I
having
remember
Andy
that.
Dick.
I remember even thinking like, why the fuck is
Yeah,
because
because it's definitely a risky casting choice.
He's had a long history of like drug and alcohol abuse and all other kinds of
Not good
misconduct
behavior.
and everything.
just being like pest.
And
he's playing himself.
around that
Yeah.
time though, is funny enough though. I remember him. He was on the Norm Macdonald like live show. And where he talks about it, he talked to Judd Apatow, and he told him like because he was like he'd just done Dancing with the Stars. He'd kind of like had a bit of like a renaissance.
Resurgence.
Yeah, like he'd kind of like redone stuff, and he was like doing better. And then and he said that like because Norm was like, oh, like what are you doing? Basically, he's like, oh, Judd Apatow told me basically like because I told him like what do I need to do? Like how can I just like get back on track like with my career wise? And he said basically just clean up your shit. Like just get your shit together and just kind of figure it out, and then you can go from there. So I think this was probably Judd's like branch to kind of help him stay on track and everything. And it does feel pretty therapeutic. It felt surreal, and I had to like break it to Rozie like kind of what Andy Dick is like, and because I was like yeah, because I told her I was like, well, it's kind of crazy because I was like like have you heard about like Andy Dick? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh man, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole right now, but it's the dude's got it as a very controversial life. So, but I do sympathize with them. I know it's like even that can be controversial, but whatever. But
Do you know what this kind of reminded me
I
of
don't
too? Speaking of controversial figures, it reminded me a lot of when Louis C.K. still had his show when Dane Cook was on, and Dane Cook's playing himself, and it's about the whole controversy that he he plagiarized Louis C.K. He's playing himself. It's very raw. It's very honest. It reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah.
Very similar vibes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Back to the ending. I think you had thoughts, Ronald.
No, just like I also really liked the ending. You kind of said it all. I think it's fucked up that he decides to. I think he messes up where he's like. I think the only reason he like kisses her and tries to be with her in that moment is because she says like after everything that he just went through, and she's like, you're such a nice guy, you're so great. Like she's validating him in a lot of ways, and he chooses to indulge in that.
And it's fucked up because like 20 seconds ago he had wanted nothing to do with her.
Yeah, and also she's pleading to him, saying that like I need help, I need time alone, and she really does like probably like I don't know, I'm not a therapist, but like
you are.
she definitely seems like she could use some time to herself, and then he kind of robs that from her, but she also indulges in it too. So it's both sides.
It's just
a lot.
that pattern of userism and manipulation that they all have.
Yeah.
Right? And that extends to pretty much most characters in this show. It's, shown as like, wanting somebody to love you or showing affection to somebody in the show. But really, it's a bunch of people using each other and manipulating each other. And I think that underlines the dark side of Hollywood, where everybody is trying to get something from you. There's really not people there who are out to, just help you out. Right?
It is a
out of the
very
good of their heart.
It is a very like Los Angeles, feeling thing where it's like, a lot of people come here because they're trying to do something with their lives. But I thought it was funny though that there was like there's like one Hispanic character that shows up at some point, and I was like, wow, a Hispanic character in a show about Los Angeles, like the first one we see. There's like one character here, but I thought that was like also very indicative of like the LA area where it's like this the
It really the show gets gentrified LA pretty
yeah.
accurate.
Yeah, where it's like
They-
all these people are like, I'm the center of this world.
Yeah,
and it's like,
exactly.
you're not even
They
close, dude. You
all-
moved here from fucking,
Hey.
Dakota, wherever the fuck.
That's
you're
the thing. I don't think any character on this show. I mean, I'm sure there's some, but like a lot of the main characters are not even from LA.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. And I feel like I've worked and met a lot of people like the people in the show.
Yes.
Even the main actress, I was like, dude, I know many actresses or actors who have been that like same kind of person where it's like they have this, they're they have a lot of things going for them, and yet they're so like crazy insecure. And it's a lot of these people, and there's everyone's a little insecure. But
I
like
found
it's
all the
actors in
characters-
particular, like oof.
I found all the characters to be very, at least in this season, especially very realistic, like people you've met, like people you know. They don't feel like TV characters as much as they feel like people that you've met in your life, for good and for bad. And I don't know. I love the first season of Love.
It's a good show. I like it. At least season 1 so far. I think it was great. Like you said, I think I could have walked away from it and been like, wow, that was a very grounded but also like fun and interesting and tragic show in many ways, and I thought that was I thought it was very solid.
So I will say I had remembered it as being 12 episode seasons. And
The seasons 2 and 3 are 12 episodes.
yes. So when it was episode 10 and it got to the end of episode 10 of season 1 and it went on to the next episode, I didn't immediately realize that was the finale. Right?
It is a good transition into
Yes.
season 2.
It really is. And I would even say the first couple episodes of season 2. Well, I guess we'll get into this
We'll
next
talk
week.
about
Yeah.
that next week.
Yeah.
We can spend as much time next week talking about it because I do have a lot to say about seasons 2 and 3. Very
Yeah.
excited.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll just say right now, I'm pretty sure that the first couple of episodes of season 2 were written as part of season 1. And
I disagree.
We're
I disagree.
backloaded because they only bought 10 episodes.
I disagree, but
maybe
I don't
Maybe
know.
it
They
was.
make a joke about it later.
It did. That was kind
Think
of the
about it.
Netflix formula back
Yeah.
in the day, but I don't know. It could. I mean, also, I think Apatow's a smart enough guy where he was probably like, "Look, we can continue because I've got a bunch of stuff still like ready
Yeah.
to go." And then they're probably like, "Oh, well, why not?" But I don't think that's impossible. But yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing too, because we just spent 2 seconds on this. I find it interesting that Gus is the one that kind of does the bigger betrayal this season, because you would kind of assume it would be Mickey. And I just found that to be interesting.
well, which
with
part?
Heidi, I know it's not.
Oh,
They're not like in a relationship or anything, but it
Yeah.
does feel a little fucky.
it shows all like kind of how spineless he was in that. I mean, there's a lot of things that he was willing to stand on in that moment in the writer's room and shit, and then it's just like I don't know, he completely crumbled like in a lot of different ways. Also, that scene really reminded me of Sarah Silverman talking about when she fired oh my gosh, the creator of like Community and Rick and Morty and stuff,
Dan Harmon,
because he was a writer. He was one of the writers on the Sarah Silverman program, and she fired him. And she said like quote like something like, or maybe not quote, but she was basically like,
Exact
there's
quote.
only she told him that there's only room for one insane person in this writer's room, and that's me. Like, like, so I can only imagine the kind of conversations that were happening with Dan Harmon, who is known for being very difficult to work with. So it's like, yeah, I could see some parallels there where he's just like, no, So it's I thought that was very interesting.
A bit of a Dan Harmon overlap. Community,
Yeah.
Gillian Jacobs.
Yeah, who I think was great.
Oh my
I think
God,
that there's
yeah.
something to say about like that character that really became popular in like the 2010s.
The Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah, but like really deconstructed, where it's like
Yeah.
her, the girl from Russian Doll, there's a bunch I can't think of right now. But like,
And I wouldn't even
yeah.
consider her a manic pixie dream girl because she's too dark to be.
Well, that's the
Pick-
That's the like. That's why it's like such a trope and why people make fun of it so much is because like people who are typically like that typically have a
have
lot
these
of
problems.
issues.
No, I know, but like
Yeah.
when you say dream girl, right? You know, it's talking about this archetype that doesn't exist, right?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but
the-
in
that's-
movies
now,
it does.
now
right?
it's
Yeah.
like now the joke is, oh, I could fix her. You know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what
And this was
Yeah.
kind of an early version of that, and one of my favorite, maybe my favorite version of that. I just think, fuck, that's such a well written and acted character. It's so good.
Yeah, and it's true that it's just a much more interesting type of character than like the manic pixie dream girl, and I feel like I've known a lot of women who relate to it, at least in some sense, in the same way that like we relate to like Gus in some sense, where it's like, yeah,
I feel like I relate more to Mickey than Gus in
Well,
certain
yeah, I
ways.
guess. Sorry, I'm not trying to just like say only women can relate to her, but like
Between the two of them, I found her to be a really like relatable character with like just her. I'm kind of a fucking crazy person, and I can relate. It's just so good.
okay.
Did you guys want to get into what we were watching this week, or are we doing that?
Well, I think we have
Past
to.
6 months.
I think we have to name our sponsor.
Oh,
we were sponsored by
By Judd
Oxygen.
Apatow. It's
Yeah.
perfectly ethical.
I just want to shout out our sponsor, Oxygen. I use it every day. And
I thought
can't
they
imagine.
shut down that network.
No.
I would
the
literally
network, yeah.
die without oxygen.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't
Life
imagine
without it.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
It's so great. Get it. It's available literally everywhere, or almost everywhere. But yeah.
Yeah.
Not in space. Checkmate.
Oh, that's true. Fuck. Yeah. All right. We'll get there eventually.
Do you guys want to talk about
anyway.
what we're watching briefly, or are we skipping that?
I mean,
We've been talking for a while, I think, but
I guess we can. Do you
No,
want
we
to
can
just mention that one movie we watched the other week?
Oh, yeah. Let's.
we could go
Yeah.
over that really quick.
Yeah.
The Man Who Knew Too Much.
Yeah.
The Alfred Hitchcock movie. I'm sorry, that was the middest
Fucking
Hitchcock
boring,
movie.
dude.
It was quite.
I
Oh, there's a lot of
enjoyed
good
it,
stuff in
but
it.
it was a slow burn.
Yes, there
It
was a lot of good
slow
stuff
burn.
in it. There was a lot of good stuff in it, but it's of the Hitchcock films I've seen,
Yeah.
which is probably around 10. It's one of my least favorites.
I think we while we were watching, we kind of like figured out why. It's because there's no
Urgency.
real sense of urgency throughout that entire movie.
which is strange because that's usually a Hitchcock
Yeah.
staple.
Yeah,
They're-
the suspense is like what he's known for.
They're
and I
lounging
just-
around drinking cocktails. I'm like, your son's missing.
Yeah.
What are you
Other than
doing?
the one
Their friends
scene
come
where,
over and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's have some drinks." What are you doing?
yeah, other than the one scene where he doses his wife with like Valium or something. So
Oh my
that
God,
she'll
that scene was
calm down,
crazy, by the
right?
way.
That was like the only time that like they even like really seemed like in an appropriate amount of worry about their
what's he
son.
say? He says, "You want the truth? This is the price." And he's like holding up the pill.
Yeah.
Also, that kid's a racist anyway.
Oh my God, yeah.
It was really bad.
We put on the movie, and the first 5 minutes they're in, where are they? Morocco?
They're in Morocco,
They're
yeah.
in Morocco, and I immediately out loud said, "Oh no, a Hollywood movie from the 1950s trying to tackle another culture. This is going to be interesting."
The first 5 lines of dialogue from that kid are just awful,
Racism,
dude.
yes.
Oh yeah. Just horrible.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't see that one with you guys. I haven't watched a movie with you guys in a while. This is like the first. The show Love is like the first thing that we've like kind of watched together.
Come
in
over and watch
minute.
a movie sometime. We do it all
I
the
know.
time.
Seriously.
But I did watch a lot of other new movies for the first time this past month.
No, you didn't.
By last month, I mean month of August. I watched Mother for the first time, the Bong Joon-ho movie, which was fucking awesome. It's such a great movie. It's a very popular. It's just about like a mother's like kind of relentless like pursuit of kind of proving her son being innocent to a murder, but it kind of starts really blurring the lines of what she's willing to do to prove that innocence, and then it's like also questioning. It's like, but is he innocent though? It's really great. Also watched Shin Godzilla at AMC. They did like a re-release for it, and man, also a very good movie. That's up there now, tied with like my favorite Godzilla movies with like -1. It's such a good like modern interpretation of it that takes place in modern day Japan, and yeah. So I don't know, and a few other ones, but we can talk about them next time or something.
Before we end, I would like to reveal why I started watching Love again, because it'll upset Jason and it's very funny. The whole reason, it's been 10 years. Well, not quite 10 years, because
Can I
I
guess?
watched season 3.
Can I guess?
You know, because you know what it is, based on what you just said. The whole reason that I watched. All right, go ahead and guess.
I don't know exactly why, but I think it probably has something to do with Dexter.
It does.
Oh god.
So the whole
Fucking
reason
unbelievable.
We aren't talking about Dexter anymore.
the whole
Oh, I do
reason-
want to say really quick.
Till we're 90.
Yes, I know.
Like,
no
right,
TV.
right before we fucking stopped recording, Blake was like, I'm going to make an executive order. We're not talking about TV shows anymore. And fucking, what are we doing, dude?
Well, the main reason I did that was because Miles kept talking about like fucking Tim Allen sitcoms, and it's
That's
like
great
I
content.
About it once. I talked about it like once or twice, maybe.
I feel
You
like
never stopped,
I just
Miles.
think I think talking about love is a little bit different than talking
And you talk about fucking Dexter
Jeez.
40% of your life.
I'm sorry, I enjoyed trash
I
cookie cutter
just-
network television.
I just think it's not exciting to talk about how you watched whatever it's called. Who cares?
You can talk about whatever you want, Miles.
I'm sorry, I mentioned it for like 30 seconds. Wow.
Hey, Last Man
I feel
Standing.
affected
Last
right
man
here.
standing. Thank you. I thought that's
Yeah.
what it was.
It's a good show. I've never
but
watched
let
it. I
me
don't know.
let me reveal why, and then we can.
It was actually shifting gears I was talking about.
Yeah, he has
we
another
did
one.
talk about Last Man
Oh,
Standing
man.
a little bit too.
But so here's what happened, and I'm upset that you called it because I wanted to upset you myself. The reason I decided after almost 10 years to watch this show again was because in Dexter Resurrections, there's a plot line that involves Uber, but it's not Uber. They call it Your Car. And I was having a conversation with my friend. I said, why'd they have to come up with like a lame name for Uber like Your Car? They couldn't just call it Uber. He's like, well, Uber probably just didn't want them to use the name. I'm like, they bring up Uber like once an episode in Love. I don't think it's as bad in season 1, but you'll see, Ron, in season 2 and 3. I remember when the show was coming out, people were like, is this show just an advertisement for Uber? Because they really do talk about Uber a fucking lot. Now,
Signing a deal with
I think
Uber,
part
I
of
guess.
that is just that it's about living in a big city, and a big part of living in a big city is Uber, in my experience.
And that was
But-
also around the time Uber was really blowing up.
That's true.
Well, also maybe Dexter Resurrections wouldn't pay or couldn't get Uber to pay the licensing fee.
I think that's
Dexter
probably what it
does
is.
that as well. Like
Yeah.
when he orders an IPA and not like
Oh, yeah.
doesn't specify the beer. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
He drinks
I mean, like,
IPAs.
all-
He's just like me.
a lot of places do that. They've got like
can't
stores online where you can buy like these no-name brand
Yeah.
pop
Generic
beers
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
cigarettes
they
and
really,
stuff like that.
They really
Yeah.
have Dexter just drinking IPAs.
There's one fucking scene in New Blood. In the first
Okay.
episode, he walks up and the bartender's like, "Let me guess, IPA." And well, actually, it's interesting because she says IPA and Jameson neat, so they could say Jameson, but they can't say like I don't know Stone IPA or something.
I would expect Dexter to drink something good.
Man, I knew that he was a
Not
bad
like
person,
IPAs,
but
get
I
the
didn't know
fuck
he
outta
had bad
here. You don't like
taste as
IPAs,
well.
No, I don't like IPAs.
Dexter
They're
drinks
awful.
IPAs. That's the most relatable part of him. Dexter Resurrections finale in 4 days. I'm excited.
And we're not talking about it.
And we're not talking about it.
So don't worry. Although we do actually have some Dexter listeners who I feel bad because they're like, "Are you guys going to keep reviewing it?" And we never did, and because I don't want to. I don't know. Maybe
down to-
someday.
There's a market for it. There's a market.
There
for it.
is.
I'm down
Dexter
to
never
re-
goes away. God damn. it
R.I.P.
stays-
Original Sin. Very sad day.
I am
Very
down to
sad day.
re-review specifically episode or season 2 of Dexter.
It was because of our argument we had last week.
Yes.
Okay,
I
we should
don't-
probably wrap this up. We've been
All right.
talking for a long ass time.
Well, thank you for listening. It was a long episode, and we have an even longer one coming up next week for you.
Ugh.
Hopefully not.
Love, watch it. It's good. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Go get your
Bye.
oxygen.
All right, bye.